So now let's just recap some of those major cryptos that we did from our images and see what we found today. What did we learn? Did we learn today? How can we grow? Oh, yes. What did we learn? Did we learn today? We started with XRP, still in a larger bullish uptrend in some of the larger areas. We are pressing against that mid phantom and quite respecting it. But at the same token, we seem to be building above the old highs in the flats, and that's a very good thing for some higher prices, which right now would bring our supports closer to the highs of that $2 range if we could ever get though. But this is a 2-month chart, so I don't think we're going to get back there anytime soon, back to $2 in my opinion just yet. We are on a 4-hour chart coming back to these lower areas. We saw that the challenge on the third time still had aggregately high volume right there. There was still some aggregately high volume, so there should be another chance to the bottom, and the lack of absorbing the supplies at this range, which is closer to 310. So price has not fully absorbed all the supply at 310 to adequately build above there right now, and that's why we did challenge one more time to the bottom. But on that lower side, we did have some very high volume. There may be some buying here. One of the things that's going to more confirm some of this going on, or some of the more health, is what's going to happen over the next few days. Are we going to phase and pass through this line and be able to come back up into there? It's very likely. Current price for XRP $3, but also we may be looking at some kind of resistance and coming back. So this is about a strong decision making point for XRP. We saw that when we placed our older targets, they were already hit here and here. So this is a type of reversal point for XRP based on the measurement from these moves here. So that's going to be this is going to be our HB targets. I deleted the HB before I took these pictures. These were from a previous video. We also measured the XRP has a parabolic support somewhere along this track, and it should give us prices that average around 260 for the reverberation and 240 for the support. So XRP can come back a little bit lower if it needs to. A more official numbers would look around like 253 to 276. Placing back on our targets, that we have 2 targets, one that was already hit, it would be here and here, so that doesn't need to really be on the board. But the other target that's low is also around 265, 255, and that's going to be on the lower side. So of the reverberation, we'd be looking, of the oscillation between this larger parabolic, as it were, or parabolic range, we'd actually be looking more on the lower side to hit 265 rather than just the KR at 276. So current price, if we do come down, we'd be looking for XRP to possibly come back lower. Not saying it can't build up right now, but that's where it might be. We also have some larger projections based on the measurements up to the $5 range, $4.77 to $5. So if we do go up now and in these seasons, we may be looking for that move up to $5, and that's basically based on the measurements. I did measure today's video twice. So we measured the larger move, and then we also measured the smaller move about from here on. Okay, so that's going to be where we're actually going to be looking at for a larger move. Okay, so I'm $5, and I said that to you guys last year back when we were first measuring where that $2 was going to be, and for the last year we've been shouting $2, and we hit there many times. The next chart we're looking at, for XRP, Triple J had some new prophetic numbers here. 17 important for XRP. Remember, she's mentioned 17 before. 2225 benchmarks. We're going to be paying attention to some of those numbers for XRP. My personal thought is that once we clear that $5, we're going to make the mad dash to 11, 12, 13, and then we hit those numbers, as I said a few years ago. Once we hit the 13 numbers, we may have a chance to hit the 15, and then the 18 numbers where we're going to be looking to get up to. And then from there, we're going to see what's going to happen. It's hard to predict maybe that many numbers out based on just calculations. Okay. But that will be a very important area. So I put some stars on the important areas. 150, Triple J keeps mentioning 150. I do have it on this map. And then I also have the bulk of the supports around the 250s based on parabolics, based on a few of the sword cuts, and some of the projections should also calculate back to $5. So all of that support is going to be somewhere along within this range, which is on average around the 255, 256 is about somewhere here, okay? Here, 262, 258, somewhere within here before the target 242, 250. So again, somewhere here is most likely where I think price is going to launch a more proper execution. So can we beat today and it be the time where we just go to $4? It's possible, but I personally, in my opinion, I think we're going to get back down to the 250s in my opinion. I think Camino was closer to 268, somewhere around there, I think what he said. But I'm going to be in the field where we're possibly going to spike into here and we're going to see some action going on. And if we do, then praise God, that's where I think it can launch a big strike. If we fail, then it will fail it should fail somewhere back to some maybe some of these are going to start breaking and we're going to come down to the lower stuff. Maybe we'll look for 2 to break and then go to 250, or if it's 150, and it may look like a very large spike is what Triple J said, may be very, very quick. So I'm not really expecting heavy weakness, although if we do get 150, praise God, that's what I want. Some people just want the wealth transfer happening right now. I want to be ready. I want to have enough seed money for the harvest. Joseph was told by God there was going to be 7 years of abundance through the dream that Pharaoh had. And God told him what to do, but he gave him 7 years to prepare for that. 7 years of abundance to prepare for the famine. And when the famine happened, that was when the wealth was really transferred to him. So one was actually seed money season, and the other was a time where it was a wealth transfer. I want seed money season to last a long time personally, but I also want to have seed money. And I want you guys too as well to be able to position yourself positively. All right, there's some higher numbers for XRP. You guys can take a look at them. Now, the next crypto we are looking at was Link. Link is stuck between a rock and a hard place, in my opinion. There's some weaknesses that were appearing on the highest monthly charts, getting squashed just last month. We just started a new month, and we got squashed here. That's important to us. And the other thing is that we do have some supports based on what's going on here. So ultimately, Link should be stuck between a rock and a hard place. With the pullbacks on RSI, there is a strong indication that the RSI is going to reset, so we're looking for RSI to come back down. But overall, because where it may be, because it's very close to resetting, I think that if we do come down, there's not super heavy weakness, therefore, on Link. But if Link is allowed to come back down for a little bit of time, we want to still be bullish longer term. There's not a lot of data indication that this is going to go down heavily on the larger time frames for Link using the RSI pullbacks method that we're using. But ultimately, price should be stuck between these two areas, and it sure is from here to here, and then it's just going to be cracking in that area. So health should be mostly above the 20s, and then weakness below the 13s and 12s. Okay, ultimately it's just delay. The next crypto we looked at, SHIB, still a lot of lack of buying in this crypto. We see no large professional support or entries in this crypto. It should be delayed between these areas when we calculate it, and yes, it has been just delayed exactly where it should be based on what we're seeing. Trapped between the two sword cuts and the sword cut and the leveled off parabolic / sword cut, which is overlapping both. We have some larger supports here, and then I also drew a larger flat, which encompasses these larger moves. Ultimately, I believe we're going to be getting down somewhere there in the future. I don't believe it's time for SHIB, in my opinion, to do anything great. I think we're going to get one more chance at some lower prices for SHIB. Okay. Then the next crypto we were looking at was AERO. I believe AERO hit 2 of its targets of support here. This also happens to be a sword cut, so it's moving into bullish territory. But the good thing about AERO is that we do have a positive, I believe, a push and sustain into positive, healthy territories. Looking at the volume where it is, we measured buying coming in, and it appears to have completed a strong absorption somewhere just before that move happened, somewhere just right before here at the 4th challenge area, with buying in the background in the move into health. I think AERO has completed a strong absorption. Sorry, my son. When that happens, we like to see a strong push or sustaining volume after the fact. And here we see a strong push, which means that the larger traders are getting behind the move and they're ready to keep the move higher. So I think that's a good sign that AERO is going to continue doing well, or start to move and do well. And as we look at where AERO might be going, AERO should be getting closer to the $1.49 areas. It's going to be a strong vortex ending in closer to the end of August of this month. Current price is 79 cents. If we can move to 149, I think we're almost looking at 100%. I think we measured the move. It was 74%. Yeah, 74% from current for just prices just a little higher. So if we're going to buy it, we want to buy it at a support. And one of the things we measured was this is a type of support price. It's just right here. So I'm going to say this is a good spot to buy, or if we're going to try to get some average prices. But if we're going to cut it really closely, we want to just zoom in just a little bit farther and maybe hunt that down move more accurately. And you can see that we're very close to the breakout. If not, we're very close on this daily chart for AERO. So if we were to draw a straight down move, that's probably where you want to strike next. In my opinion, it's bullish. I think it's going to do well. I think it has a chance among all the other cryptos today, minus any pullbacks we would maybe have on the crypto, the altcoins in its entirety. I think AERO's bullish in my opinion. We looked at DOGE. DOGE has some moves into some health, but stressing the wider ranges up to closer to 35 to 40 cents. So we're looking still to get above there, and real strong weakness to appear below 11 and 10. In my opinion, DOGE is still in this upward oscillation, so we want to have pullbacks. I think the next pullback is probably going to be closer to 15 cents. 15, 16 cents, somewhere around there. I think that's where we're going to be over the next few days. These are dynamic positives. They're going to rise over time. I like the momentum. I like the pullbacks on here. Makes sure that this crypto has a lot of fight and bullishness. After measuring some of our RSI calculations, I wrote that this still has some fight left. DOGE still bullish, but looking for some pullbacks, and AERO bullish. Okay. We have some targets up in the sky close for DOGE next about 29.35. Current price is 20 cents. So still got some moves up there. We're probably going to slow down on the conservative side, which is around 36, rather than the range, the full range up there, the dotted one. I think we're going to stop here where those targets are at. Even if we stop at 29, we may even spike at 35. So this is not unheard of to spike that deep. So I think we're going to spike. We're probably going to come up to here, spike, or come up there and spike. But overall, that's going to give me an average of around maybe 33 cents. Okay. We looked at FEFE, and when I looked at FEFE, I saw a few things about this crypto. I saw that based on the flats analysis, this was an important bar, and we can see that there was a lot of pushing on that side. This is going to make it so that things are getting negative. And then we round underneath the range of the flat, and we saw another weakness appear on this. And I think that based on the last event that should happen, this key angle family down here, we should be actually looking to the low side, closer to that price on wrapped ether. And then I gave you the actual number, or very close to the actual number on the other chart. I also mentioned that there's a larger weakness that happens on here based on the DP of this oscillation. Price playing back and forth, and here we duplicate the projection, and it gives us supports here. Plus, when we didn't just hit that number, we focused underneath and we moved underneath that, and we hit the underside. So that was actually going to be a sign of weakness, and therefore price should be looking to fall more easily. And sure enough, we have. So we have two big weaknesses, a push and another move into weakness, another phase through into that negative area. And there's no more supports for us except for those lower numbers. So I'm looking for FEFE to fall. Measured in US dollars or on the DEX screener tool, the actual price number is closer to 3040 and 4087 for that lower range. So we may, if we fall straight down today, that's the number. Otherwise, if we take our sweet time, we're going to be meeting here closer to maybe December of this year. Okay, and then if price is there, then we're going to be looking to bounce up, but that will be a vortex. So at the time, that's how you can translate those numbers. I'm not bullish FEFE at all right now. Now, the next one, USDT.D, gives us a good indication of where the market is going, and you guys understand that we can use this to let us know what's happening with the market. And what we've saw for this crypto is that so far we're still in a larger area where there should be weakness in this area. So we're still looking to come back down. Now, we almost spiked up and hit the sword cut at 463, and then we're going to be looking for a reversal. But already we see a reversal just this week, just from last week to this week so far. This is, I'm sorry, this is a 2-day chart. So when I look at it more carefully, it looks like we've already hit that range on a weekly chart. So if I'm gonna give myself a little bit more wiggle room for the full range of the bar where the sword cut is, we already hit that. So right now it's looking like we spiked up and came back down. So I'm still gonna therefore be looking that this has appeared that it has pulled back, and therefore we're actually going to be looking for this to come down. And when this comes down, your cryptos go up. So we want this to come down if you're bullish on cryptos. And that's going to bring us down to our ranges here. Now, we already hit the first target many times, so we don't need to really hit the top side of the target anymore. We're actually really looking to hit the lower side, which overlaps with our swing target. So somewhere in that range of 350 is where I'm really looking to go. And remember, I had a vision that we bounce out of the range on a curve. So I think that it's going to be about right there, closer to 352. That's going to happen. Is that going to be happening now or in the future or next few weeks? This is a weekly chart, so this can play out over the next couple months. And this chart generally takes a long time. We've been reading this chart for several years, and it does always take a long time, but it's pretty accurate, I would say. I measured some of the more smaller stuff, like on a 6-hour chart from the previous day. We on Saturday we measured that this was a top. We're looking to reverse out here, plus it's also overlapping an old target here, and we only went up just a little bit higher on that target up to the sword cut and came back down. And now I think what's going to happen is for this to really start going down and cryptos to really take off again, we need to be below 432 to 437. Somewhere underneath this parabolic is where this is going to take off next. So is it really time for the cryptos to really launch again? Not just yet, but as long as this is coming down, cryptos are moving up. And when this is moving up, cryptos are moving down. So it's been just over the last 2 days, it's been just up and down, and we're going to be looking for things to change. So that was my previous chart from August 2nd. Okay. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to be looking at next is are we really going to bounce up here and come back? When I measure the RSI, it's not likely. So I put the word not likely. I don't think that we have enough time to really give us a lot of bullish momentum. So I'm not looking for cryptos to really go down. I'm actually going to be looking more for us to phase through and continue bullish. Okay, and then when I measure the larger moves showing on this 6-hour chart, you can see that there's still a lot of fight to the downside. So this makes it more likely this is going to come down. And again, that's going to equal more bullish prices. This may fire price down. This equals bullish market. So just reading the RSI alone, in my opinion, based on the pullbacks, I think we're going to be going down. Remember, everything in this video is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast, and trading in the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Total 3 lets us know what the markets are doing as far as the altcoins, and they are in a bullish position. I'm looking for them to be bullish. And here's the sword cuts here. We have a strong foundational area that's a lot like a parabolic. When I measure this as a parabolic, we're looking for this to possibly pull back a little bit more, closer to 908. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to hit that number, but that would be a good support. If I can hit that number and even spike down to sword cut, I would be very happy with price looking more on the conservative side at 885. So if I'm hitting here, spiking here, I'm not going to be looking to spike so deep, just maybe to the top side where all this support is. A lot of pressure is going to be in this upper area, 908 to 885. Okay, that's how I'm going to read that. Now, the whole thing, again, in my opinion, is still in a larger uptrend. So until there's really weakness, I'm going to be bullish altcoins. Okay, this is basically, you're going to read it just like this. Now, we do have a flat, so I really want to clear 107 before we start talking about getting up higher than that. But for right now, as we're reading, I think this is a good season, because this is, as long as this can keep moving up, we're going to be very bullish altcoins. If I'm going to be more accurate on the daily chart, we can draw that wash line. It's going to be about an angle here, and that's where we're going to be looking for health. We want to move that circle up and down the track, so that's going to lower each and every day. But for the most part, we're looking for this to be bullish. Now, when I duplicate it and put it at the top side, it gave me a number of 1.13, which means of this range here, I'm going to be looking on the liberal side. So I'm going to be rather looking up there rather than here, since it overlaps along that track. This is where they intersect, and they intersect over this month. So if price does come up and we just stop there, I'm going to be looking for a reversal. If we build above, I'm going to be looking to continue moving higher. But right now, that's going to give me some support and some targets up in the sky. Even though I did not perform the other target system, I did a target system. It's here, and it overlaps some more the middle side of here. Are we going to be able to hit all the way that target? It's possible if we do come back down. But as it is, altcoins their own. USDT.D has some room to wiggle, but overall it should be bullish. This has some room to wiggle down, but overall bullish. So altcoins bullish, the market's bullish with some rooms for pullbacks. It's not the best entry prices possibly today for a lot of cryptos. A lot of cryptos pulling back. I think they're going to pull back a little bit more, as I mentioned on Saturday, and I think that there's room because of this chart. I think there's room to get some of these prices at some of the cryptos at great prices, but you want to keep an eye on them this week. XRP may have its next breakout, as I mentioned before. I liked AERO, and I like DOGE. DOGE probably has more pullback, but AERO is probably going to be my biggest one for today. And that's going to conclude all in today's session. I'll be back to answer any following questions, and then I'll have my breakfast. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll make sure that this gets published. If you're watching this section on YouTube, on publicly, remember you can sign up for our website and join us for our live Zoom call. Everybody in the Zoom chat is here in the Zoom. We're great. It's Monday morning. We meet on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Wednesdays are slow down tutorial day. Sundays WordRoom. We just had a message yesterday called The Leader's Repentance. If you want to listen to that, it's on our website. Just come to our website, and it's free to click on that link on our website. Otherwise, it's on our YouTube channel. Not all of our content is on YouTube. We barely put any content on YouTube. It's all right here on our members website. You can even sign up to get invited to our Zoom link for free once a month on the first Saturdays of every month. Otherwise, sign up for our Dive and Report tiers, or our Dive tier. It's our full access to all of our video lessons. Our Dive tier gets you a copy of the video. Our Dive tier gets you an invite directly to show up every single week. And you can place requests for, if you have cryptos you want me to look at, shoot me the email inside of the Patreon app. That's the best way to message me. Just, hey, can we look at that? And then I'll add it to next week. On Wednesday, we're going to look at DOPU. We're going to look at Solana. And I think that's what, and we're going to start there, and we'll look at other cryptos. If you have requests, make sure you sign up for Dive tier and put your request in. God bless you.